My name is Oscar and I help people raise their vibration and share their gift with the world. And in this video, we're going to look at how you can let go of overthinking and emotional overwhelm by becoming aware of specific aspects of your consciousness. Now, if you are overwhelmed or when you're overthinking, there is something that is specifically happening inside of you that you might not be aware of. Right? There's all these thoughts that is going around, and it's all these emotions that are playing together, right? It's a dialogue where you should or you shouldn't do certain things. I coached a client today, and we had gone through a specific session that has caused a lot of things erupting inside of her, right? Because as you start emotionally processing, it's like you're opening a Pandora's box. And that Pandora's box becomes, it's like your inner child is saying to yourself, it's like, perfect. Now you're listening. Now I can come up with all the things that is happening inside of me so you can look at it and you can be with it. So we had let go of a lot of things, so much more things were flowing up inside of her. Now, what many doesn't know is that these thoughts, these emotions, they themselves have personalities, right? There is a specific personality of your consciousness that have specific emotions and thoughts. Now, what I'm going to share with you are the 6 main personalities that when you become aware of them, you will start to see yourself and the inner dialogue inside of you in a whole new way. So what are those personalities? Well, first off, there is a part inside of you that is a judge. The judge is the part that says you should do this, you shouldn't do this, or someone should do that and not that. This is right, that is wrong. Now, it's not necessarily the one that's like banging very hard and says like, no, right? It's more of a subtle, in some types, especially when we're talking spiritual people, right? It's more of a subtle expression where you're saying is like, oh, I wouldn't do that. There's a thought, right? The saying is like, oh, that wasn't particularly spiritual. That wasn't the right way of doing it, right? So there's a slight resentment. That's the judgment inside of you. And that judgment or that judge, it can speak not only to the outside, but also what is inside, right? Maybe it's a comparison between you and something outside, and you are comparing, and then the judge is saying to another aspect of your personality that you did this, so you are wrong. And what is that aspect of your personality? Well, that's the victim, right? There is a person, or there's this aspect that is saying that it's a victim of the judgment of your judge, right? But that is a victim of others' judges also. And whenever you are blaming someone, you are playing the part of the victim, right? Because if you're blaming, that means that they are the perpetrator. And if they are the perpetrator, you must, per definition, be the victim, right? So you have a judge, you have a victim. So let's say that the judge is judging the victim for its shortcomings. It's like, you should do that. And the victim says like, yeah, I know I should do that. I'm a bad person. I hate myself. I don't deserve to be loved. I'm awful. Right? Then you have a next aspect of your personality that comes in. That is the fixer. Right? The fixer doesn't want anything else but that the victim doesn't feel victimized. So the fixer finds ways outside of you, inside of you, to make sure that it mitigates the judgment from the judge. Right? So the fixer normally shows itself by the things that you do to make sure that you won't be judged. If you're in a relationship, there might be a part of you that knows that if you do this, it won't be appreciated. So you do it in another way, right? That's the fixer that is in there, that making sure that the victim won't get judged. The fixer is also what plays out in the world, especially as a light worker, right? You have to fix everyone. You want to fix the world. It's very important to recognize that, right? The world needs saving. So you much rather save the world than fix what is going on inside of you. Much of the many times, what you're essentially wants to save is the part that is inside, right? You want to save the victim, not being so victimized by the other personalities there, right? So that's already 3 personalities that are living inside of you at this moment. Then you have the princess. So what is the princess? Well, the princess is the part of you that's saying, I'm perfect. There is nothing wrong with me. I am the epitome of human evolution, and I have it all figured out. I'm flawless. Don't tell me what to do, because I know best. The princess is prideful, and it does not want to change. And it recognizes and it compares itself, and it says like, they don't know anything. I know everything. I'm so smart, they have no clue. And it happens very subtle. It's thoughts, right? All of these personalities are the thoughts of the overwhelm that is happening inside of you. It's just mind, it's a mind chatter between the conversation of these aspects of your consciousness. And the moment you recognize them is the moment you get a breather, because that's when your observer comes in, right? And the observer is the purity of your consciousness, and a neutral spot that just shines a light on what is going on, and it does not identify with either one of them, right? So that's 4: judge, victim, fixer, princess. Now next one, villain, right? There's a rager inside of you that wants to torch the world or torch others. And it might not be you might not be conscious of it, right? But maybe sometimes you've ever felt that you really would like to, The word slit someone's throat, right? Metaphorically. That's the rager, right? It's the child that never were allowed to be angry, never were allowed to express itself, right? So there's a part of that just wants to tear something apart, and the rager might even want to take the judge and drown it, you know. And so then there's this angriness going on, and all of it is happening inside of you, all of it. And here comes the one that you might be mostly identified with, and it's the saint. Right? It's the saint that says that, oh, you should not judge, you should respect, you should understand, you should love. There's a lightness to this. I am this, and it is beautiful, it is pure, it is joyful, right? But at some part, this aspect of the saint does not want to recognize that it hides a subtle judgment, and it hides a subtle resentment in form of the princess, right? So the saint, for many light workers, is there, right? Holding the space and the lightness, but it refuses to look and acknowledge the shadow sides of what it is. So let me ask you this. What aspects inside of you do you identify the most with? If you recognize that, then you will start to become much more aware and sense what thoughts it is we're on a daily basis that causes the overwhelm and overthinking within you. Because the truth is this, the overwhelm, the emotional overwhelm, is the flooding of all of these aspects talking in the mouth of one another. Right? The judge judging the victim, the fixer going in and protecting the victim, the rager, right? The villain who wants to torch the judge, and the princess is staying there. Who the fuck do you think you are? And then the saint that sits on his high chair and saying, oh, everything is wonderful. Right? But all of it's a mind play. It's an overthinking. Right? So become aware of these aspects, these 6 aspects. Also recognize if there's other aspects in your life, right? Maybe you're one who jokes a lot, right? You're joking in order to protect yourself. All of these aspects are protecting mechanism for not feeling the hurt inside of yourself. And once you become aware of these 6 aspects, then you recognize what are the common thoughts for each aspect, right? What is the common thought and what are the common emotions? And then you will start seeing as like, oh, here in the victim, I feel insecure, I feel inadequate, I feel incapable, I feel worthless, I feel powerless. In the judge, I feel hostility, resentment, frustration, anger. In the fixer, I feel worry, anxiousness, stress, right? You just recognize there, and then this observer starts seeing it, and the more you see it, the more you see this mind chatter, the more you can see the comedy of it. And when you start laughing at what is happening, you start really consolidating, because all of these aspects starts to feel seen, heard, and there is no need for them to be there anymore, because you start resolving the emotions that is erupting, right? It is for you to just recognize these aspects And I can promise you that your overthinking and your emotional overwhelm will become much more easy to handle. And then you can one by one just look at what is it telling you about yourself. Because everything is about self-inquiry. Know thyself, as they say. That will set you free. So this was today's video. If you like it, if you had any ideas or that came to your mind about this, please comment below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. That's it. See you in the next one. Peace, love, and joy to all of you. Bye for now.